Ramana Maharshi and his love for animals. It is not really a wonder that Ramana Maharshi, being the self in all, was friendly to all animals, and that all animals were peaceful and calm in his presence. Sri Vaikunthavasar talked about Ramana's love for animals. On great occasions like the Jayanti, Bhagavan would ask me, "Have you attended to the boys?" meaning the monkeys. I used to take plenty of food and spread it on the rocks. After they finished eating, the monkeys would keep quiet, lying down content. And Bhagavan would remark, "Look, how good they all have become and do not do any mischief now." Once there was a snake below my pillow. When I reported it to Bhagavan, he laughed and said, "Oh, it is quite all right. What else can make a better bed for you?" He was referring to my name, Vaikunthavasar, which is one of the names of Lord Vishnu, who has the holy snake Adishesha as his bed. Sri Velacheri Ranga Iyer said the following about Ramana. Although Bhagavan managed to maintain a facade of ordinariness, he was able to see the spiritual worth of everyone who came to see him, but at the same time, he would not share his teachings to the undeserving. Bhagavan could recognize the spiritual maturity in the people around him. He could also discern it in the animals that came to him. One day, Ramana's mother asked, "Why does that dog always like to stay in your lap?" Bhagavan turned to me and said, "This dog is always in unwavering samadhi. A great soul has come in the form of a dog. Mother does not know this." Sri Sundaram, Sadhu Trivenagiri, said this about Ramana. Bhagavan insisted that avoidance of waste overruled everything else, and he would never permit God's gift to be thrown away. As for giving the leftovers to beggars, it was not possible because Bhagavan insisted that beggars be given the same food as everyone else and not some inferior stuff. Even a dog had to be fed from the common meal. A professor devotee said this about Bhagavan. A dog called Jackie fell sick. Bhagavan arranged a soft bed for it in the hall and was tending to it affectionately. After a few days, it got more sick. It made no difference to Bhagavan's attention on it. Finally, it passed away in his hands. It lies buried in the ashram precincts with a small monument over it. The following words are from T.R. Kanakammal. One day, Bhagavan was sitting in the veranda with some devotees. Suddenly, a wounded crow flew in at great speed and fell at Bhagavan's feet, who picked it up and stroked it gently. When the crow died in his hand, Bhagavan said, "Some Siddha Purusha, a divine soul, has left his body today." He then gave instruction for the crow to be buried. Sri Pranavananda, who was on the scene, broke into tears that Ramana granted liberation to a crow. Sri T.V. Kapali Shastri mentioned this incident. Once a hunter was about to kill a peacock on the hill. When the Maharishi told him not to do so, he brushed aside his words, saying, "Go away, Swami. Who is asking you?" The next day, it seems that the man had an accident and his very arm had to be cut off. Speaking of this, Maharishi said, "I felt sorry for him. But what is to be done? People have to go through these things before they would learn." In talks with Ramana Maharshi, this information about spiritually ripe and unripe animals is furnished. There were 4 dogs in the ashramam. Sri Bhagavan said that those dogs would not accept any food not taken by himself. Mr. Rangachari, the Pandit, put the matter to the test. He spread some food before them. They would not touch it. Then, after a while, Bhagavan put a little bit of the food into his mouth. Immediately, the dogs rushed and ate the food. Later, a man brought 2 peacocks with their eyes screened. When let loose in Maharishi's presence, they flew away to a distance. They were brought back, but still they flew away. Bhagavan then said, "It is no use trying to keep them here. They are not ripe in their minds as these dogs." So he said, however much they tried to keep the peacocks, they would not remain there even a minute. Mr. Grant Duff asked the master if any mongoose had anything to do with him. The master said, "Yes. It was the occasion of Jayanti and I was living up the hill in Skandashramam. Streams of visitors were climbing up the hill from the town. A mongoose, larger than the ordinary size, of golden color, not the usual gray color, or the black spot on its tail, passed these crowds fearlessly. People took it to be a tame one belonging to someone in the crowd. The animal went straight to Palaniswami, who was having a bath in the spring by the Virupaksha cave. He stroked the creature and patted it. It followed him into the cave, inspected every nook and corner, and left the place and joined the crowd to Skandashramam. I noticed it. Everyone was struck by its attractive appearance and its fearless movements. It came up to me, got on my lap, and rested there some time. Then it got up, looked about, and moved down. It went round the whole place, and I followed it in case it should be harmed by the unwary visitors or by the peacocks. 2 peacocks of the place looked at it inquisitively, but the mongoose moved carefree from place to place and finally disappeared into the rocks on the southeast of the ashramam. Another strange thing happened. There were 2 peacocks which used to strut with their feathers spread out like a spangled fan. But a cobra too used to take part in the pastime and moved around among them. It is really amazing to hear such things in the atmosphere of the great sage Ramana Maharshi, which would be absolutely unheard of anywhere else. Mr. Robert Adams talks about Ramana's concern for animals. I was in Bangalore to see Papa Ram Das. When informed that Ramana has left his body, I went to Tiruvannamalai. The crowds had already started to come, thousands and thousands of people. So I climbed the hill and went into one of the caves and stayed there for 5 days. When I came down, the crowd had dispersed. I inquired his devotee, who saw him last, what were the last words he spoke. He said, while he was leaving the body, a peacock flew on the top of a wall and started screeching. Ramana asked his attendant, "Has anyone fed the peacock yet?" Those were his last words. So said Robert Adams. Such was the greatness of Ramana Maharshi's love and kindness equally offered to all beings. It still prevails.